How's the day going? Things going good? What's happening in your world? Have you written about it? I'm always going to bring that up. Oh my God. It is going to be a very busy day inside this studio today. I mean, everything is planned out and it's ready to be played out. The focus is set on the physical performance. But I got to be honest with you, I'm no different than anybody else. I want to go outside and I want to play, to run like a wild child, to feed the heart and the imagination. In fact, the one thing that I learned about the COVID-19 lockdown was how important it is to be very active in your life, to give yourself play time. And I'm horribly guilty of getting too much of my job inside my heart, staying inside and forgetting that the mind needs some other nature. When COVID hit, we took 3 to 4 mile walks every single day. We were always eating outside, lunch and dinner, allowing the universe to move through each and every one of us. Now, I can't let this busy day in the studio put me back in a place where 4 walls and no windows allows you to just be a bump on a log. You got to get it done. And it does play out on the heart. It really does. And I'm not the only one who goes through this. So do you. You put yourself on a map and you say, this is the layout of my day. I cannot get out of this because if I do walk away, then something isn't going to get done because you've planned out for it or there's been some unexpected changes. And that is the big challenge, is that how are you going to prepare for the unexpected hit if you didn't do the job you needed to do? Hey, it's Arrow. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. And this is how I pay attention to what is going on inside the world that I live. And I really do want to pay attention to how you're living and what your actions and reactions are, because I am a silent wolf. I sit beneath the brush and I watch as people grow forward. And you learn from that because we learn from each other's lessons in life. This is The Daily Mess. There's no such thing as trying to catch up with sleep. I mean, sleeping longer might be a sign of tiredness or depression, but it's not connected to gaining access to evening up what we have lost due to our addiction to always move. This is why I do all I can to remain on a well-disciplined path of habits. I'm up at a certain time, I eat at a certain time, I go to bed at the same time. And if I break free from that pattern, there's a huge chance I'm going to miss out on some sleep. As a child, I would stay in bed until 11 a.m., which today, that would just totally destroy me because I've wasted half my day sleeping. I don't want to do that. So that's why I've always believed that sleeping is a collaboration. It is a personal partnership that builds up the ability to have the required strength to move through the unwritten expectations that I was just talking about. What I can't do, though, is that I can't take one of these midday naps. Because if I get into that habit, what I do in the daytime, all of a sudden it's like, wait. I have to jump off this course that I'm on, this Google Calendar moment, because it's nap time for me. I can't do that because you don't know when the next job is going to take place, because that's the path that we have chosen to live on, is that you go from this to this to this to this, always moving. And if I were to put in the middle of that day a midday nap, that in itself is a very easy addiction. It's one habit that would be very, very tough to kind of break away from, because if you're used to going to sleep at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then you're going to go to sleep every day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even if you're driving, you look at that clock at 3 o'clock. In fact, I'm going to prove you a little something on that. I still believe that the number one reason why so many of us get tired between 3 and 4:30 is because that's when we were let out of school. Elementary school, middle school, and high school. That's when we were getting out of school. And what did we usually do after school? We went home, had something to eat, and we just went, we didn't have to necessarily go to sleep, but we just went. Now, doctors will argue with me. They'll say, yeah, it's good and healthy that you take a midday nap, even as an adult. But it's that one thing that will affect you every day, and it'll put you in a place where you're stepping off the path. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with those moments of, I have no energy? Do you Red Bull it? Do you take one of those little 5 hours? Do you drink some coffee? What do you do? Some people, and I've heard this, is that they take different forms of medication to make sure that they stay awake. They don't melatonin it until way later on so they can fall asleep at night. But when you get into that moment where you go, how do you get out of it? That's a step that's between you and you only. Because what I do to get out of that is I think the opposite direction of that. Because if somebody sees me go, then that means it's just like a yawn. They're going to do it too. So what I mean by the opposite step is that I will go and I will become extremely positive. If you find me in a moment where I'm being extremely positive, there's a big chance I'm trying to hide. I'm Arrow, and that's the Daily Mess.